The abandoned automotive landscape of America extends far beyond Detroit's famous ruins. Today, we're exploring the shocking stories of forgotten car factories across the nation. From failed startups that promised to revolutionize the industry to specialty manufacturers that served unique niches before vanishing forever. These ruins represent the graveyard of American automotive dreams and the harsh reality that innovation doesn't always guarantee survival. Checker Motors Corporation plant. Kalamazoo, Michigan, deep in southwestern Michigan, sits one of America's most iconic abandoned automotive facilities. The former Checker Motors plant that produced the legendary yellow taxi cabs that defined urban transportation for decades. This facility represents the death of a uniquely American automotive niche and the end of an era when specialized manufacturers could thrive serving specific markets. Founded in 1922, Checker Motors carved out a unique position in the automotive industry by focusing exclusively on taxi cabs and commercial vehicles. Their Kalamazoo plant was purpose-built for durability over style, producing vehicles designed to survive the brutal punishment of urban taxi service. The famous Checker Marathon could run for hundreds of thousands of miles with minimal maintenance, making it the undisputed king of American taxi fleets. What makes the Checker abandonment so shocking is how completely the company dominated its niche before disappearing. At its peak, Checker cabs were everywhere in major American cities. Their distinctive tall profile and spacious interiors made them perfect for urban transportation. The Kalamazoo plant employed thousands of workers who took pride in building America's most recognizable commercial vehicles. The facility's abandonment in the early 1980s represents a perfect storm of changing regulations, foreign competition, and shifting consumer preferences. New fuel economy standards made Checker's large, heavy vehicles economically unviable, while cheaper foreign alternatives began flooding the taxi market. The plant that had built America's most durable commercial vehicles was suddenly obsolete. Today, the abandoned Checker plant stands as a monument to specialized manufacturing excellence. The massive assembly halls where workers built legendary taxi cabs now echo with silence, their windows broken and equipment long since scrapped. Walking through these ruins, you can still see the heavy-duty assembly fixtures designed for vehicles that needed to survive millions of urban miles. The abandonment represents not just economic loss, but the death of American craftsmanship dedicated to durability over profit margins. International Harvester Scout Plant, Fort Wayne, Indiana. The former International Harvester Scout production facility in Fort Wayne tells the story of America's first true SUV and the company that pioneered the recreational four-wheel drive market decades before it became mainstream. This abandoned plant represents one of automotive history's greatest missed opportunities. A manufacturer that created an entire market segment but failed to capitalize on their innovation. Built in the early 1960s, the Fort Wayne plant was International Harvester's attempt to move beyond agricultural and commercial vehicles into the emerging recreational market. The Scout was revolutionary for its time. A compact, capable four-wheel drive vehicle designed for both work and play. IH engineers created something entirely new. A vehicle that could haul farm equipment during the week and take families camping on weekends. What makes the Scout plant's abandonment so tragic is how perfectly positioned International Harvester was to dominate the SUV market that would explode in popularity decades later. The Scout had everything modern SUV buyers would eventually demand: genuine four-wheel drive capability, rugged construction, and versatile utility. IH was building SUVs when Detroit was still focused on massive sedans and muscle cars. The facility itself was a marvel of specialized manufacturing, designed specifically for the unique challenges of four-wheel drive vehicle assembly. The plant featured heavy-duty assembly lines capable of handling the Scout's robust frame construction and sophisticated four-wheel drive systems. Workers took pride in building vehicles that could go anywhere and do anything, a philosophy that would later make billions for companies like Jeep and Ford. The abandonment came in the early 1980s when International Harvester's financial troubles forced them to abandon passenger vehicle production and focus on commercial trucks. The Scout plant, which had been profitable and innovative, was simply shut down as the company struggled to survive. The timing was particularly tragic. Just as the SUV market was beginning to explode, IH abandoned the segment they had created. Today, the ruins of the Scout plant represent one of automotive history's greatest what-ifs. The facility that pioneered the recreational four-wheel drive market sits empty, while other manufacturers make billions selling vehicles directly descended from IH's original concept. The abandoned assembly lines where workers built America's first SUVs now rust in silence, a monument to missed opportunities and corporate short-sightedness. Tucker Corporation Plant, Chicago, Illinois. The former Tucker Corporation facility on Chicago's South Side represents perhaps the most famous automotive failure in American history and the death of post-war innovation dreams. This abandoned plant tells the story of Preston Tucker's revolutionary car design and the establishment's systematic destruction of automotive innovation. Tucker's Chicago plant was a converted aircraft engine factory that the visionary entrepreneur purchased after World War II with dreams of revolutionizing automotive design. The facility was massive, capable of producing hundreds of thousands of vehicles annually using innovative manufacturing techniques Tucker had learned from wartime production. His plan was to build cars so advanced they would make Detroit's offerings look obsolete. What makes the Tucker story so shocking is how genuinely revolutionary his automobile design was. The Tucker 48 featured innovations that wouldn't become standard for decades. A rear-mounted engine, disc brakes, fuel injection, a safety windshield, and a third headlight that turned with the steering wheel. Tucker's engineers were creating the future of automotive design while Detroit clung to outdated pre-war concepts. The abandonment of Tucker's plant represents one of the most controversial episodes in automotive history. Despite having revolutionary designs, adequate financing, and enormous public enthusiasm, Tucker Corporation was systematically destroyed by regulatory interference and establishment resistance. The Securities and Exchange Commission investigation that ultimately killed the company was widely seen as a coordinated attack by Detroit's Big Three manufacturers who feared Tucker's innovations would expose their own complacency. What's particularly tragic about the Tucker plant abandonment is how much innovation was simply discarded. When the facility closed in 1949, it contained not just the 51 completed Tucker automobiles, but also advanced manufacturing equipment, engineering prototypes, and design concepts that were decades ahead of their time. Much of this was simply scrapped or abandoned, representing a massive loss of automotive innovation. Today, the former Tucker plant site stands as a monument to what might have been. The facility that briefly promised to revolutionize American automotive design was demolished decades ago, but the story remains a powerful reminder of how establishment interests can destroy genuine innovation. Tucker's failure didn't just eliminate a promising car company. It sent a message to other potential innovators that challenging Detroit's dominance was futile. Crosley Motors Plant, Marion, Indiana. The abandoned Crosley Motors facility in Marion, Indiana, represents one of automotive history's most fascinating experiments, America's attempt to build truly economical transportation during an era of ever larger automobiles. This plant tells the story of Powell Crosley Jr.'s vision of practical, affordable cars and why his logical approach failed in a market driven by status and image. Crosley's Marion plant was purpose-built for manufacturing small, efficient automobiles using innovative production techniques. The facility was designed around the concept of building cars like appliances: simple, reliable, and affordable. Crosley had made his fortune in radio and appliance manufacturing, and he applied those same principles to automotive production with revolutionary results. What makes the Crosley story so compelling is how perfectly their vehicles fit market needs that Detroit completely ignored. The Crosley car was incredibly fuel-efficient, easy to park in crowded cities, and affordable for middle-class buyers. During World War II, when gasoline was rationed and materials were scarce, Crosley's philosophy of efficient design made perfect sense. The company's innovative engineering produced vehicles that achieved over 50 miles per gallon decades before fuel economy became a mainstream concern. The Marion plant featured innovative manufacturing techniques that would later influence the entire automotive industry. Crosley pioneered the use of stamped steel unit body construction, lightweight materials, and simplified assembly processes that reduced production costs dramatically. The facility was designed for efficiency rather than scale, proving that small manufacturers could compete effectively with Detroit's giants if they focused on different market segments. What's shocking about the Crosley abandonment is how much innovative engineering was simply discarded. The facility contained advanced lightweight construction techniques, efficient engine designs, and manufacturing processes that wouldn't become mainstream for decades. When the plant closed, this knowledge was essentially lost, forcing later manufacturers to rediscover innovations that Crosley had already perfected. DeSoto Assembly Plant, Detroit, Michigan. The former DeSoto Assembly Plant in Detroit represents the death of one of Chrysler's most successful brands and the harsh reality of automotive market consolidation. This abandoned facility tells the story of how even profitable, well-regarded car brands could be eliminated when corporate strategies changed and market segments became overcrowded. DeSoto was launched by Chrysler in 1928 as a mid-price brand positioned between Plymouth and Chrysler models. The Detroit assembly plant was state-of-the-art for its time, featuring innovative production techniques and quality control systems that made DeSoto vehicles notably reliable. During the 1930s and 1940s, DeSoto built a reputation for engineering excellence and innovative features that often appeared on DeSoto models before being adopted by other Chrysler brands. What makes the DeSoto plant abandonment so shocking is how successful the brand was before its elimination. DeSoto vehicles were genuinely innovative, featuring advanced engineering like fluid drive transmissions, innovative suspension systems, and aerodynamic styling that influenced the entire industry. The brand consistently ranked high in customer satisfaction surveys and maintained loyal followings in markets across America. What's particularly tragic about the DeSoto plant closure is how much brand equity and engineering expertise was simply discarded. The facility that had produced millions of innovative, reliable vehicles was abandoned virtually overnight. Equipment worth millions of dollars was scrapped or sold, and engineering knowledge accumulated over decades was lost forever. The abandonment represents not just economic loss, but the destruction of a genuinely successful automotive brand that had earned customer loyalty through superior engineering and manufacturing quality. These abandoned automotive factories represent more than just failed businesses. They're monuments to the dreams, innovations, and human ambitions that built America's automotive industry. What's your most shocking discovery about these forgotten automotive pioneers? Which abandoned factory represents the greatest missed opportunity in American automotive history? Drop a comment below and let me know which lost automotive dream deserves more recognition. Thanks for watching, and remember, every abandoned factory was once someone's vision of the future.